Okay, so you start with high energy, look into the camera, and also sometimes check in with visually what are your participants doing. Hopefully they're on camera. And I give you some ideas as well as to how to bring them on, on camera for those touch points. Good quality video, great sound. I want you to slow down, and I'm going to give you some good reasons why. So first of all, think of the senses. People are watching what you're doing. They're hearing what you're saying. They're maybe feeling how the information you're sharing is relevant. They might be writing notes and following along if you're showing how to do a certain task. So consider all of this. You're looking into the camera. You are drawing people into what you're saying, but you want to every once in a while check in. Are they feeling what you're saying? Are they connecting? What is on their face? Now, when people are writing, they might not be looking at their camera or on the screen. They might be writing notes. They might be looking off to the side because they're doing what you're doing. So they're going to be looking back and forth. Or if they don't have a second monitor, they might be only listening to you and they are with their mouse trying to follow along if you're showing how to do something, that's the context. So especially in that context, when you're showing how to do something, you want to slow down. Think about it that sometimes what you're sharing, if it's technical knowledge, it might be feeling like learning a new language, and people need to receive the information. And for some people to remember and be able to act on what they've learned, they need to take notes or watch what you're doing, but also practice. So build that into your training curriculum, that instructional design that you are building into the time and space that people are potentially doing. So think about it this way. Years ago, when I started creating videos, I wasn't always using it as also a podcast. But now this file will become the video. I will give additional notes and tips in the blog, in the description. I will add a link. And the audio will also become a podcast. So if I am describing step by step, I need to describe, at the bottom navigation bar, you will see the chat icon, and it is in between participants and share screen. If you're seeing that, click on it and have that open. When you're giving navigational direction, you want to not just show with your mouse if you're sharing screen, but you also want to be saying where that mouse is going. You want, that's important for accessibility, and it's important for the closed captioning that or transcript that's being created. But more so, as people are listening to you, they might not be watching where your mouse is going. So just saying click here isn't describing what you're actually doing. So I definitely wanted to emphasize to consider showing, but also verbally describing what you're doing so that if people are listening and trying to follow along, they can. So that is really, really important. And describing where your cursor is, and consider that people are learning in different ways. They're processing the information. It might be the very first time they have ever heard what you're sharing, and they need to have that sink in. So slowing down makes a difference. And, if you're sending resources ahead of time, people might be following along, either online, on another device, printed potentially, or you're sending it afterwards, but they're not seeing it right now, or you sent it and they haven't read it and they don't have it open. So consider that people are in different contexts. In this video today, I wanted to share some key tips. I was part of some training recently, and some of these aspects came to my mind. Because what's really important too, if you're always the trainer and always the facilitator, sometimes we can forget that learner perspective. And it's important to be jumping into a learning experience, whether it's live or recorded, but especially those live situations. How are you feeling? How are you experiencing the training as well? And, again, to emphasize that, slow down and describe. An example might be on a road trip with my husband, and we're driving along the highway, and he asked me if I saw that particular car. He might be looking to his left. I was looking out the window to the right, or I'm looking straight ahead, and the car may have been coming the opposite direction. I don't know where my eyes were supposed to go when he said, "Did you see that car?" or "Look at that car." And he's not saying where. So when you're online too, you really want to describe so that you're guiding where people's eyes are. But with accessibility, if people aren't looking or can't, how are you describing the step-by-step in an auditory way as well? So I hope that this is helpful for you. Some quick tips to really make sure that the time you're investing and your participants are going through the training and information with you, that you're getting the best possible outcomes. Thanks again for checking this out. And I will add links in the description as well for my book and course too, if you want to access more that you can use right away. Thanks again. My name is Patricia Regier.